Are the people in your life because of the quality, or are they in your life because they hold space? Again, hardcore question, I know. But I think a lot of us, definitely myself included in the past, I was afraid to lose attention, not love, because it wasn't really love I was getting anyway.
Are the people in your life the best from the past or the best for your future? Are they the best for your future? That is such an important question to answer. I think some of us, our deepest fear is to outgrow people. I think some of us, our deepest fear is to not be successful.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another episode of Next Level University, where we help you level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. We hope you enjoyed yesterday's episode number 1603, Why Quitting Your Job is a Mistake, ... potentially. Today, for episode number 1604, Why You're Starting to Outgrow People. We were talking about this on one of our team calls a few months ago. And this is something I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot with friends, with clients. When you get to a certain stage, I don't know when it is. I think it probably depends on who you are and how you're growing and what you're ultimately growing towards and to. But we get to the stage where we start to question the friendships and the relationships in our lives. And I've heard so many people say this. I feel like I'm outgrowing this person, and I don't know where it's coming from. And I remember, Alan, somebody said that on the team. And I said, from my perspective, and again, this is just my perspective, I think it's fairly accurate, but I could be off. When I've heard people say that, the people that they're outgrowing, they should have let go a long time ago, but now they have enough self-belief, they have enough self-worth, they have a strong enough community, they have enough clarity, whatever it may be, where people don't get through that filter anymore. And it's usually somewhat negative people. That's just what I've seen. Somebody will say, yeah, this person, I don't know, I was hanging out with them the other day and they were just talking down to me and they kept poking fun at my dreams and my goals and they were just lessening everything I was doing. Has that started now, or are you just seeing it now for the first time and you actually have the courage to admit what it is? So that's really what I want this episode to be about. If you're starting to outgrow people, ask yourself, is this someone who actually deserved a spot in my life in the first place? And if the answer is no, when did they stop earning it? And maybe the outgrowing is not necessarily a result of your growth only. It's a result of your growth mixed with the fact that you're starting to, and I guess this is growth in a nutshell, but you're starting to see that certain people around you were never really rooting for you. They were there, and they were making noise, but it was never positive noise for you to have success. It was more, why are you doing what you're doing? It was that negative stuff where people try to pull you down. Then that becomes their identity in our friend groups. And we say, oh, that person's just kind of, they're rough around the edges, or they always make fun of me, but I know they mean well. Eventually you get to the place where you don't tolerate that anymore. And I think that's a beautiful place of growth to aspire to.
Kev, you used to talk about this on the podcast way back in the hyperconscious days, and you used to say something along the lines, and again, I'm probably going to butcher it, but something along the lines of the fact that we went to high school together is not enough. The fact that, we knew each other when we were young is not enough. And I think that the reframe that I would give, I agree 1,000% with what you were saying, but I think that to bring that to the forefront for our listeners, for myself, for you, what is earning it to be in your life now? Like, what does that mean? What is the litmus test, for lack of better phrasing, of someone being close to you? Because to me, I this is just recent, but humility, gratitude, lack of entitlement, which I think is the opposite of humility and gratitude, which we did an episode recently, Kev, where I got a little fired up. And I always get fired up whenever we talk about bullies, and I always get fired up whenever we talk about toxic people. And I always get fired up whenever we talk about, dream killers. And I think all three of those are kind of the same. They're all very similar. Anytime we talk about people who are entitled or overly dominant or overly toxic or telling you how you should live and guilt tripping you and shaming you when you don't show up, for whatever they think you should show up for, whenever someone's projecting their beliefs onto you and, making you feel bad about who you are, I get fired up. And one of the reasons I get fired up is because obviously that's not good for the world. But the other reason is because I've been not courageous enough in the past to tell those people to F off, for lack of better phrasing. And so I now have this sort of new idea. Instead of me basing whether or not someone's in my life off of how long we've known each other, or we grew up together, or we're from the same town, or we went to high school together, or we went to college together, or we knew each other in corporate, my new frame is, do you have the virtues and the core values that I align with? Are you humble? Are you grateful? Are you not entitled? Are you humble and grateful when I do show up? Are you growth-oriented? Do you have goals and dreams? Do you want to grow? Are you open-minded? Are you inclusive? Are you emotionally mature? And, I playfully joke about the time I saw an old friend of mine and he got really mad that I didn't wish him a happy birthday. And this person's actually someone I care for deeply. But at the end of the day, any of that stuff, instead of being grateful that he saw me, that he ran into me, it was all, oh, well, you didn't XYZ. So obviously there's an expectation there that I wish you a happy birthday every year. And I know that's a small example, but my point is anyone who is projecting the way you should be onto you and requiring you to be the way that you should be in their mind versus them wanting you to flourish on your own accord, them wanting you to be you, them wanting you to be what you aspire to be. I think that's really the litmus test now. And everyone who's out there watching or listening to this, ask yourself, who is someone I know who I am certain intuitively wants me to be who I aspire to be, the best version of who I want to be? And whatever name came up, remember that. Remember that person. Now I'm going to ask the opposite question. And whatever name comes up is going to be someone you probably don't wish this was the case. I've done this a lot in coaching. I've done this at live events. I've done this at virtual meetups. Who is someone who you want to believe they have your best interest at heart regardless of themselves? You want to believe that, but deep down, intuitively, you know they do not want to see you be the best version of you. They actually want you to be who they want you to be, even if it's not conscious. This person is a little toxic. And there's nothing you can point to that's over the top obvious. But you know deep down that this person is a little toxic. And I think that that's really the frame that I would come from, which is whoever that is, you obviously haven't had the courage or the self-worth up to this point to sail away yet. But you're going to have to sail away eventually. The biggest mistake I've ever made in my life was believing that I could achieve my dreams and not outgrow the people in my life. And the truth of the matter is, as hard as this is, hardest part of growth, in my opinion, I've said that a dozen times, if not more, the hardest part of growth is outgrowing people, in my opinion. And the belief that I could somehow achieve all my goals and dreams and be the change that I wish to see in the world without also outgrowing those around me, I now realize that is impossible. And I'm not someone who uses the word impossible often, but I will right now. That is impossible. You cannot achieve your goals and dreams and become the best version of yourself without outgrowing some of the people you grew up with, without outgrowing some of your family members, without outgrowing some of the people in your life right now. And if you can have the courage and the self-worth and the belief in yourself to actually sail away, you will be blown away at how much better your life gets.
Growth is a two-way street. If you outgrow someone, it doesn't mean you did anything wrong. It just maybe it means you did exactly what you were supposed to do and somebody didn't do what they needed to do to stay in your life.
The problem is it feels like you did something wrong.
Understandable. The reframe that I try to offer for that is, you did do something wrong for the long time where you tried to keep yourself small to keep that person around. And now what's happening is you already outgrew them. You just never left. You outgrew them and you stayed because you were afraid of losing them. And again, I have a weird relationship with relationships, so I'm not saying it will be this easy, but that's often what I see is someone says, well, I feel like I'm outgrowing this person. But then when you dig in, the truth of the matter is they feel like they've already kind of left that person behind, but they don't want to leave. They want to stay with that person. One of the best examples of this that I can offer, at least, I had a friend, and I was dating this young lady, and she said, I want to meet your friends. And I said, awesome. You can come over, we'll have a cookout, you can meet my two best buds. And I said, let me explain. Let me talk to you about my friends. And I said, one of them is awesome. He's like my big brother. He's super supportive. He's going to be super curious. He's going to love you because I'm dating you. He'll be super curious about what's going on in your life. Just a good dude. Just a good human. And I said, the other guy. And then I paused. And I said, he's going to make fun of you in front of me for sure. And he's going to think it's funny, and it's not going to be. He's not that funny. He's going to make fun of you for sure, and he's going to think it's funny, but it's not. He's going to make inappropriate jokes for sure. He just kind of identifies as a dick. He just identifies as a dick. And then I thought, imagine if somebody had to introduce me that way. Imagine if somebody had to preface, yeah, I'm going to meet someone you care about, but just FYI, be careful for Kev. Because Kev's probably going to say some inappropriate stuff, and I'm sure I have in the past. But regardless, I knew this about that person, but it went from funny and quirky and it's just their identity to eventually, I don't know if I can tolerate that anymore. I've grown.
What changed?
I grew, and what I wanted in the people around me grew. Not that, again, I don't have anything against that person. I had some of the best times in my life with that person. I've had some of the best laughs I've ever had with that person. But that person didn't aspire to evolve to the place that I wanted to evolve to. All that realization is, oh my goodness, the things that we used to, I don't want to say the things that I admired about that person, because I don't think I ever admired that mentality, but the things that I let slide for a long period of time, I'm not willing to let slide anymore. I just was honest enough at that point to admit it, and then that friendship ended up drifting away, and it doesn't exist anymore. But the truth of the matter is, you could do one of two things. You could say, well, that's just Kev. That's just kind of how Kev is, and this is your choice. You can decide to keep Kev around. If that's okay, that's up to you. That's totally up to you. You don't have to outgrow someone just because you have different goals or you have different dreams. That's okay. That's up to you. But there is most likely going to be some level of detriment to it. So that's one option. Or the other option is you say, well, for some reason, it just feels different. When we spend time together, it doesn't seem like we're on the same page. And when we talk, it just doesn't connect. And I always get that weird feeling before I see them. And when they leave, I'm always super relieved. And I feel dirty when they leave, whatever it is. That's a sign. That's some sort of sign. And as always, do with that sign what you please. But I'm convinced that the outgrowing process happens far earlier than we admit. We just eventually get to the point where we're either courageous enough, or we have enough self-worth, or we have other people that have similar core values, core beliefs, and core aspirations where we don't think we're going to be alone. And then we say, oh, now I'm spending more time with Alan. I feel like I can probably let go of some of the toxicity in my life because Alan's got me covered. And I think it's just that kind of that process, unfortunately. That's why the higher you climb, the more people you'll ultimately outgrow, because not everybody wants to go where you're going. And again, I have all the empathy in the world. I don't expect everybody to want to go to the same place, and no worries, no stress. I will definitely miss people for sure, but I'd probably miss myself more if I pretended to be somebody I wasn't. That's my belief.
Hello, NLU listener. Thank you, as always, for listening to Next Level University. Real quick, I just want to jump in and let you know about the Next Level Dreamliner. This is a journal that I use every single day. Achieve your dreams 90 days at a time. It breaks down your dreams into goals, milestones, and daily habits. We hope you enjoy it. The link will be in the show notes. Yeah, I think, are you going to regret sailing away from this person, whoever it is, or are you going to regret not? It's going to... I used to use this analogy. This will be my next level nugget. When I was in my early 20s, I drove across the country, and there was 3 routes in the U.S. So from Boston to L.A. You can go the northern route, you can go the middle route, or you can go the southern route. And there are 3 main highways that you can take. I think we took Route 70, which we did the middle route. And I used to use this analogy. Imagine you're driving across the country with someone, and this is the metaphor. And the idea is core aspirations, core values, core beliefs. Core aspirations is having this similar goals. Okay, so let's imagine we're both going to LA, Boston to LA. You and your, whoever this person is in the car with you, going to LA. Same destination, same goals. But you love heavy metal and they love rap. And they hate heavy metal and you hate rap. Again, metaphor. Now you can go to the same destination and you both want to take the middle route, but you can't listen to your favorite music unless you take separate cars. Okay? So that would be a core value in conflict. A core belief in conflict is, hey, I want to take the northern route. So we like the same music. We both love country music. But I want to take the northern route because I love the mountains and the Rockies. And Kevin wants to take the southern route because Kevin loves the warmth. That's a core belief in conflict. He believes we should go the southern route, and I believe we should go the northern route. Last but not least, let's say Kev's headed to Vegas and I'm headed to LA.
Gamble it all away.
We can take the same car all the way to Vegas, but then once we get to Vegas, I'm going to have to take a separate car to keep going. And I think that metaphor is so powerful because in life, there are certain people who are here for a page, other people who are here for a chapter, and other people who are here for the whole book. And then other people who are here for the series of books, all 8 Harry Potters, right? Again, metaphor on metaphor on metaphor. But the point is I think that some people make the mistake of cutting people too early. Other people make the mistake of cutting people too late. I'm definitely on the too late. Kev, I think, has been traditionally on the too early.
We did an episode on that recently. I don't remember which one it was, but we did an episode on that recently.
Yeah. And so we drive to 5. We balance each other out, which is really good. There are certain people that Kevin was like, let's sail away. And I was like, no, not yet. And because of him, we sailed away eventually. And because of me, we stayed long enough to when it was aligned. And so how do you make something that feels so emotional and it feels so hard, but logically, rationally, intellectually, has to happen? There are past partners of mine, intimate partners, that one of my past partners achieved all of her goals. When we first met, we both had goals and dreams. We were in college. And she's a sweetheart, one of the sweetest people I've ever met, seriously, to this day. And when we first met, she had all these goals and dreams. And I remember in my mid-20s, she achieved all of them. Literally all of them. I was so proud of her. And I was at the very beginning of my goals and dreams. And so I just started to grow at an exponential rate. And she playfully said dating me is like dating a Stairmaster. Which, again, I think is hilarious because I'm always on. And I get that. Anyone who's in my life who's close to me, I'm always on. And, again, maybe not always, but definitely ignited and engaged. Who wants to do an episode a day? Seriously, think about that. It's like, Kev, you're game, but how many other people would actually be game for that?
It's a lot of episodes. I've seen you in sweatpants.
It's facts. I have
sweatpants and your hair a mess. I've seen that for sure.
You have seen that.
I'm one of the few.
After an event, I came in just a robe. It's like funny.
I don't remember that.
You were laughing your butt off because you knew I was down and out, man. You and Taryn we were supposed to record, and I was late, and I just couldn't get it together. And it was after an event. You guys knew I was struggle bussing, and it was hilarious. Yeah, I think that might have been the first time you ever saw me in glasses too. But the point is some people are here for a page, some people are here for a chapter, some people are here for a book, some people are here for the entire Harry Potter series. And right, wrong, or indifferent, good, bad, or ugly, you have to decide for you. If you want to keep growing, there are certain people, I'm certain of it, you will have to sail away from and or reallocate time. And we talk about this concept a lot. We have talked about it a lot, but it's one of the biggest ones. It's one of the absolute biggest ones. And the hardest part of growth, in my opinion, is outgrowing people.
We had a mentor one time, and he said, you have to create a void. So if you have 10 friends and you can only handle 10 friends at any given time, and again, don't take this as what to do because it's going to sound very cold and calculated, but you'd want to figure out who is the top 9 friends that are most aligned, reallocate time with the 10th friend and then replace the 10th friend with somebody more positive. But if you only have 10 spots available, you do have to open up the opportunity to potentially lose one of those people to gain something better. And I think you're not going to be able to get a better job unless you leave the job that you have. You're not going to be able to get a better house unless you leave the house you have. You're not going to be able to get a better car unless you don't drive the car you have. That's kind of the way it works. So that makes it extra challenging. This would be my next level nugget. Ask yourself, are the people in your life because of the quality, or are they in your life because they hold space? Again, hardcore question, I know. But I think a lot of us, definitely myself included in the past, I was afraid to lose attention, not love, because it wasn't really love I was getting anyway. I was afraid to lose companionship. I was afraid to lose the space that people held. So again, I know that's a hardcore question, but that would be my next level nugget.
What's the quote you use?
Which
Are
one?
they the best from your past? Or
are the people
for your
in your
future?
life the best from your past or the best for your future?
That's one of the best.
That's one of my favorite quotes. It's hardcore. It's heavy. It's a big realization to get. But again, yeah, maybe we went to high school together. Maybe I didn't go to college, but hypothetically, maybe we went to college together. Maybe we used to work together. Those are commonalities we used to share. It doesn't mean they're commonalities that I still value to this day. I went to high school with a lot of people. Some people I still talk to. Some people I've completely forgotten about. Some people that I think about. But that's not enough anymore. I'm 34 years old. I graduated in 2007. That was a long time ago. I've had a life since then, right? An entire 17 years since then. So I think this is always a very challenging topic to touch on because I know I seem very cold and calculated when it comes to this. I just have a weird relationship with relationships. But I also realize that I want to get to where I want to get to, and I would be really, really sad. My future self would be really frustrated and pissed off with past self if I allowed myself to get stuck staying in relationships that didn't serve me. I would just be very frustrated in 15, 20, 30 years by saying, oh, wow, I really wish I spent more time doing this and less time with these people who just didn't believe in me. And when I say this, I'm talking about potentially toxic people. Not just because somebody doesn't have massive goals doesn't mean you can't spend time with them. That's not what I'm saying at all. If somebody's crapping on your dreams, there's probably a better use of your time. There's probably somebody out there that's a better fit for your friendship, love, whatever it is. That's what I would say.
100%. Are the people in your life the best from the past or the best for your future? Are they the best for your future? That is such an important question to answer. My next level nugget is I think some of us, our deepest fear is to outgrow people. I think some of us, our deepest fear is to not be successful. I think Kev was afraid of not being successful, so he was much more afraid to not be successful than he was to outgrow people. I was not afraid of not being successful, but I was definitely afraid of being alone. And I think that if you can just get to know, and many of us have both of those, by the way. So some of you might be in the middle of that spectrum. It's a spectrum. It's not a 1 or a 0. It's not like Kevin doesn't care at all about outgrowing people. It's not the case. But that's my next level nugget is which one of those are you more afraid of? And are the people in your life the best for your future? That is a really important, really, really important question to answer. Because once you answer it, then you're going to go, oh, that person definitely isn't. And you're going to go, holy crap, that person definitely is. Mm. Yeah, and that's really cool.
Strong work.
You too, man.
Yeah, thank you very much. Next Level Live is 46 days from today. I asked Google, I think it said 47 days. This episode is dropping tomorrow, so I think it's 46 days from today. Next Level Live is a live event we're going to have. We're going to have 30 people. Alan and I are going to be your speakers. Amy is going to be the MC, and she crushed it last year. This is the event this is the venue that we had our very first event at. My first speech ever of all time. I was the most nervous. I thought it was going to go terribly wrong. We made a lot of good friends, some friends that we still talk to this day. You actually have a client we met at that event however many years ago. So it's in Groton, Mass. It is $97 for in-person tickets and $47 for virtual tickets. In person, you're going to get a free Next Level Dreamliner that I'm showing here on the camera, as well as a beautifully catered lunch and just great scenery. The virtual event, you will have a live feed of the entire day. So we're only taking 30 people in person and 30 people virtually, so we can break people up into even groups when we do our breakout sessions. Link will be in the show notes. It is selling out faster than expected, which I'm very grateful for. So if you do want a ticket, make sure you lock it, because when we sell 60, that's going to be it, and then you're going to have to wait till next year. So last thing before I kick it to Alan, we opened the virtual because we know we have a lot of people around the world. So this is a global podcast. We want to make sure that you have an opportunity to join us from wherever you are in the world. So no matter where you are, it's a great opportunity. Please lock your ticket ASAP.
If you are struggling with this whole outgrowing thing, is it in my head? Am I being arrogant? Am I actually outgrowing people? Are they outgrowing me? What is going on? Gaslight, question, uncertainty. I've been there. I promise. I've helped people through this tremendously a lot of different times, and I've been through it myself many, many times. And this is unfortunately something that never really ends. It keeps happening, but you can get better and better and better at it. The link to book a 30-minute session completely free will be in the show notes if you want help with this, or you can email me, alan@nextleveluniverse.com. I love to meet our listeners. Just say, hey, I heard episode 1604, and I'm really struggling with this outgrowing thing and how to sail away from toxic relationships. I was wondering if we could jump on a Zoom session and talk about it. So I love to meet our listeners. Seriously, please reach out. I hope that you do, and I'll talk to you soon.
I will take full advantage of that. Tomorrow, for episode number 1605, which one of these motivates you more? Alan and I had a very deep discussion about a couple motivators today, and there's two categories. One might make you feel constricted, and the other might make you feel expansive. So we're going to talk about those tomorrow. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we don't have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Sail away from toxic. Next Level Nation.